Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, the way we do it over here, we get our shout outs out the way, and then and only then we start our podcast. So I am going to run that beautiful bean footage and we'll talk on the other side. All right, y'all. I want to give a huge shout out to Tiger Mommy. Tiger Mommy is always coming through. She's so faithful, she's so kind, and she's so wonderful. And I'm so grateful that she is a part of this tribe. So thank you, Tiger Mommy. Thank you for being everything. And thank you for knowing that you're everything. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is, and y'all know what I do when I am putting the read together. I hit these internet streets, and that's exactly what I have been doing. I have been digging through all of the nonsense, and let me tell you, the big story of the day is nothing but nonsense, in my opinion. And what I am referring to is a story which originated over there at the Scum. This article written by Big Head Matt Wilkerson. And his article is talking about how Rayback has rejected Harry's request for security and that Harry has just found this out. Well, I have thoughts on this, and we're going to talk about it. And we might talk about a few other things, but basically, this is what we're going to talk about. This is not going to be a long read, but I promise you, it's going to be intense because I have thoughts, and I know y'all have thoughts as well. So let's get started. Y'all know what y'all need to do. Y'all need to lock in and understand. I'm not going to keep you long, but I will keep you entertained. We're going to start with this. And I wanted to start with this post from Zanny Sussex to kind of ground us and let us understand what we're going to have to deal with in the next 2 weeks because it's going to be a lot. I said it in my last podcast. It's going to be an avalanche of you know what. And so, in order to get through it, we have to stay grounded and we can't fall for every red piece of meat they throw out there. We cannot fall for the okie doke. And so I want to read this. This is what Zanny said. She said, guys, buckle up. We've lived through and survived the chaos of William and his media minions trying to derail the Australian visit. Hell, some of us were even hunted down for buying tickets to the girls' retreat. We're seeing the same MO now as they fanatically try to stop Meghan and the children from visiting the UK. They're pulling out every trick in the book. Being a Sussex supporter is not for the faint-hearted. The next 2 weeks are going to be wild. Buckle up. Exactly. Buckle up. This story from Big Head Matt Wilkerson did not shake me in the least because I have faith in Harry and Meghan. I know Harry is not going to put his family in jeopardy, and anything and everything that is said in those rags, I take with a grain of salt because I don't believe any of it when it comes to Harry and Meghan. My whole thing is we didn't believe when they said that Harry and Meghan was coming until Harry and Meghan's spokesperson came out and confirmed. Why are we believing them now? I don't. I really don't. But I just wanted to read that so we could get grounded here, get our footing, and understand that this is going to be an ongoing onslaught of nothing but SHIT. And like Sandy said, you cannot be fainted of heart if you are a Sussex supporter. If you're a squatty, you cannot be thrown off of your game because of an article that this big head Matt Wilkerson wrote. because we all know his game. We all know what he is about, and we all know what the scum is about. Now, has other papers taken this and ran with it? Yes, they have. So what? So what? It's as if we don't know Harry and Meghan. You know what I'm saying? Do you honestly think Harry and Meghan would go into a country without security and bring their children? I don't think so. I don't think so. So, y'all, let's buckle up. Let's buckle up and absolutely understand and remember the trash we are dealing with when it comes to those rags over there across the pond. All right, y'all, this is the article that I have been talking about, the one that is making waves all across these internet streets. And like I said, it is from the scum and that big head Matt Wilkerson. And the title of the article is Security Snub. Harry may not bring Meghan and the kids to the UK next month as security requests rejected days after King's olive branch. And that whole headline makes no sense to me. How can you offer someone an olive branch and not make preparations for them to be able to accept it? It makes no sense, but we all know nothing makes sense when it comes to the rags. It says Prince Harry will not get security when he travels to Britain next month, casting doubt on whether he will bring Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet. The Royal and VIP Executive Committee Ravak has turned down requests for protection just a week before he is due to arrive for a string of engagements. Now, what do y'all think about that? Do y'all honestly think that Harry would announce that he was bringing his wife and kids to the UK and hadn't dotted every I and crossed every T? I don't think so. I don't believe none of this. And what this big head Matt Wilkerson is saying is if he really got his information from Rayback, that Rayback is out here leaking. Someone is leaking, someone is planting stories. And if I had to point fingers, I would say that would be Kensington Palace. I don't believe it. I think this is an effort to make Charles look weak and feckless. And all I can say is he doesn't need any help in that because he always looked weak and feckless. Because if he wasn't weak and feckless, his son would not be in the situation that he is in now. He would have never ever allowed his older son to run roughshod over his youngest son. It would have never happened. He would have stood up, set the ground rules, and set the example of his family. He's supposed to be not only the leader of his family, but the leader of the nation. And he has proven himself to not be fit for purpose in either. And this squatty posted that article and said, what type of evil family is the royal family? A father who is also king, who can snap his fingers now and get everything done with all his connections. For Harry and his family to refuse to is a evil deadbeat father. And I'm going to say this. I am going to sit back and wait and see. And if this is true, that Charles has pulled the okey doke, has pulled the old switcheroo on Harry and Meghan, I will have nothing but smoke for him for the rest of my life. It will be no redemption for him as far as I'm concerned, because how can you have any redeeming qualities when you will set your son up like this? It's nothing in you that is worth redemption. We all know how trash you are, but we keep on hoping that you're not as trash as we believe you to be. And we do that because of Harry, of Meghan, of those babies. Because we want them to have a relationship with you if you are worthy of said relationship. So that is the reason why I am going to sit back and watch and just see if he is as trash as we believe him to be. And like I said in my last podcast, I'm going to hold to that I am going to expect the worst and hope for the best. And that's the attitude I am moving forward with. For the sake of Harry, for the sake of Meghan, and for the sake of those babies. Because at the end of the day, they evidently want this, because if they didn't, they would not be making the effort. And I'm going to put this, this is an article from The Guardian, and the title of the article is Prince Harry and Family's UK Visit Pulled from Under Their Feet at the 11th Hour. It says Duke reportedly fears his children will not get to meet King after government declines requests for police protection. Now, all of this is speculation in my eyes. I don't believe it. I really don't. But it is so funny to me that these people really think that Charles has no power. If this was pulled from under Harry and Meghan's feet, like it says in this article, you know who was doing the pulling? Who was doing the tugging of the rug that was pulled from under them? Well, that would be Charles or Willie or both. So I don't understand this disconnect that these people think that we cannot put two and two together and come up with four. And the part where they said that the Duke reportedly fears his children will not get to meet the king after the government declined requests for police protection, are they crazy? Are they out of their minds? Charles could have made arrangements, could have been made arrangements to meet and to be a part of his grandchildren's lives, but he has chosen not to. And if he doesn't see them this time, it will be because he has chosen not to. Don't get it twisted. Charles is not the victim in this situation. Never has been, never will be, because he is the one with all the power. This whole thing of making powerful people victims is crazy to me. It is absolutely crazy to me. Charles is the king of the United Kingdom, and you telling me that he cannot make arrangements for him to see his grandchildren and be a part of their lives? I will never believe that. Because in order to believe a fantasy like that, I would have to believe in Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny. But let's get into this article. I'm not going to read very much of it because I don't have much faith in any of it being true. But it says the Duke of Sussex fear his children will not meet King Charles in the coming days after their UK visit was pulled out from under their feet at the 11th hour. Prince Harry and Meghan were planning the first trip to Britain as a family in 4 years for events related to Invictus due to be held in Birmingham in July. The Duke was said to have been excited for Prince Archie 7 and Princess Lilibet 5 to be reunited with King Charles during the visit earlier this month. However, the family trip now appears uncertain after the government declined his request for police protection outside a royal residence. I believe that. I don't believe it for a minute. But it says a source close to Harry said on Sunday the prince was distraught at the development and that he would not subject his children to being chased by paparazzi wherever they go from the moment they step off the plane. Now, that right there, I believe. Now, do I believe they spoke to someone close to Harry? I do not. Harry, do not play games with those royal rodents over there, all of those flying monkeys. He absolutely despise them. But what they're saying about Harry will not tolerate his children being chased, I believe that. And if that means that Meghan and those babies stay in Montecito, then so be it. Meghan and those babies stay in Montecito. Like I said, if all of this is true and Raybeck has rejected his request for security, guess what? Meghan and those babies will be in Montecito. That's why none of this rattles me, because I know that I know that I know that Harry values his family and he would never, ever put the family that he has wanted all his life and he values above everything in jeopardy. So, yeah, I believe that part. And it also says they said Harry was exploring other options to make the trip happen, but fears that it would not be possible without proper security arrangements. I don't believe Harry and Meghan would have confirmed if not proper security arrangements already had been made. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but I don't believe it for a minute. And this squatty posted that article from The Guardian and said if Harry had only been a pop star like Taylor Swift, the government would have fixed it for him to have a proper police escort with blue flashing lights funded by adoring taxpayers. Where's the lie? Because let's not forget the last time Taylor Swift had a concert in London, she got police protection. Ravek thought enough of her to give her police protection. But do not think enough of the grandchildren of the king of your country, and you don't think enough of them to give them police protection. I'm telling you, it's not a good look. It's not a good look for Charles, and it's not a good look for the United Kingdom. To not be willing to protect your own, because let's not get it twisted. Harry is your own. Harry is a prince of the realm, a blood prince, Diana's baby boy. Harry fought 10 years. He served his country for 10 years for the freedoms of those people who are now turning their back on him. Why? Because of propaganda that has been fed to those blind monkeys over there and put in the pages of those rags. These same people who stood behind barriers and cried and wept and wailed when Diana died and said that they were going to uplift and love and protect her children are the same people who have turned against Harry and don't want his children to be protected. It makes no sense to me. It is disgraceful. It really is. And the people who go along with this is just as disgraceful as that family over there. I said it, I meant it, I'm here to represent it. Y'all remember when we used to say that when we were little? Yes, I'm here to represent it because it makes no sense. And I just find it all so diabolical. It really is. And from this point on, if this is true, I don't want to hear anything from anybody whenever I say that these people want Harry, Meghan, and their babies Diana. Yes, it should be clear to anyone who has a pair of eyes and has been paying attention that that is exactly what that family wants for the Sussexes. So, yeah, and if Rayback did this, I will be ringing this bell forever if this is true, because this is a bell that needs to be rung. These people are dangerous and they clearly want Harry, Meghan, and their young children dead. Yeah, I said it, dead, because it is so clear. If they're refusing security for Harry and Meghan, yeah, they want them children dead and they want Harry and Meghan dead. I stand 10 toes down on that. And if this is true and anything happened to Harry, Meghan, and those babies, not only is that family the blame but so is the British people. And I'm going to put this up. This was in People magazine, and the title of the article is Meghan Markle and Prince Harry takes family vacation in Europe as questions swirl around their UK visit. Now, they're saying that Harry and Meghan are on vacation in Europe as we speak. Now, I don't know if I believe that, but it's neither here nor there. And I read this article, and the only thing I found interesting in the whole thing was that they're saying that Harry and Meghan will move forward on their visit to the UK, that nothing has changed. It says the family intends to travel to the UK next month for a series of engagements surrounding the 1 year countdown to the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham. So they're saying that nothing has changed for Harry and Meghan, that they will be in the UK in July, and I believe we'll have security. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but that is exactly what I think. I think all of this is hype. This is nothing but nonsense that is a part of the avalanche of SHIT to come. Yes, I don't believe none of it because I know how Harry and Meghan move. I've been following them too long to believe some nonsense like this, that they would just plan a whole trip and then confirm it and not have any guarantees about security. Nah, 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 that right there reeks of bullshit. Harry and Meghan just don't move like that. They always move in certainty. I'm just saying, like I said, y'all tell me what y'all think. This squatty said, if true, this looks terrible for the king and for William. Harry is still Charles's son. His grandchildren are fifth, sixth, seventh in line to the throne. Security isn't a reward for good behavior. It is a basic duty of the crown. If the palace is letting tabloids' anti-Harry campaign dictate royal family decisions, they're making a serious mistake. Forgiveness costs nothing. Estrangement costs everything. In dignity, in legacy, in public trust. Woo! Come on through, Squatty. Come on through. Where to start? Where to start? First of all, I just want to say I agree with everything that this squatty said. And the part where she said, this is a terrible look for Charles and William. Where is the lie? I mean, it makes them look petty and feckless and weak. I mean, you're so weak, you can't even stand that your brother is in the same country that you are because you're so afraid he might overshadow you and your mannequin wife. That is not a good look, Willie. And as for Charles, it's not a good look because you look like the trash father that we have always said you are. So, yeah, I agree with that part. And it said, that Harry is still Charles's son. Exactly. And still a prince of the realm, still a veteran who fought for his country 10 years and a lot of it on the front line. And Charles's grandchildren are sixth and seventh in line to the throne. And you're saying that they're not worth protecting? I mean, they're in the line of succession to the throne. That tells me you don't put much value in the throne. Because if you're not willing to protect the people who are in line to the throne must be trash as well. One of those courtiers need to whisper in Charles and Willie's ear that this is not a good look. And this part right here where she said forgiveness costs nothing. Estrangement costs everything in dignity, legacy, and in public trust. Where is the lie in that? Because they have had to pay in spades, in dignity, in legacy, and in trust, because that crown it doesn't shine as brightly as it used to when Queen Elizabeth II had it atop of her head. Ever since that woman was lowered down into those tombs, that monarchy has reeked of desperation and mediocrity. And it's no better example of both than this story that has been leaked or planted in the scum. It has cost you dearly. It has cost that monarchy dearly. The continued smear campaign, the continued vitriol spewing all over this couple, the continued hate campaign. It hasn't cost anybody anything except you. I mean, it is as if they can't figure out that this is part of the reason that they are at a 30-year low in popularity. Why would anybody want to hold up a family who is as vile and vicious as this one? I mean, who? Who would want that? The arrogance of these people. I mean, look at Kitty. She had the nerve to mean mug the people who paid for the carriage that she was riding in. Yes, this is how out of touch these people are. And this is the reason why they will eventually slip down the drain. The continued lying and smearing and all of it has cost you so much. Have you not paid enough? Harry is literally trying to save you from yourselves, and y'all continue to smack his hand away. I don't get it. I don't get it. I guess when you're living in a bubble, you can't figure it out until it's too late. And it's just about too late for these folks. And I want to put this up because the flying monkeys are starting to have conniptions. Yes, because we all know they wanted Harry and Meghan and those babies to come more than anybody, way more than the Sussex Squad, because we absolutely did not want them to go. But I digress. Yes, Tom Thumbhead Sykes is out here showing his fair arse because he has just found out that it's a possibility that Meghan and the children will be a no-show. And this squatty posted about it and said, now Tom Sykes is bigly pissed off that Meghan isn't coming. Then she put in a quote from him. He evidently said, think of all the veterans in the charitable organizations that cleared their schedule because they thought the Sussexes were coming. Yeah, think about all the flying monkeys and all of the toadies and the derangers that cleared their schedule because they thought the Sussexes was coming. And this squatty went on and said, baby, I thought you said that everyone hated Meghan and she'll be booed to Kingdom Come. Now you're pissed? Yeah, now he's pissed. And the reason he's pissed is because this was going to be all the flying monkeys over there on Fleet Street Super Bowl. Yes, it was going to be their World Cup. They were looking so forward to this because this was their time to shine on the world stage because they knew the real king and queen of the United Kingdom was going to bring all of the world eyeballs to that small island nation, and they were hyped for it. And now it is in jeopardy of being snatched away. I just love it for them. I do, because they sit on their panels and write in their articles how irrelevant Harry and Meghan are and how much they're hated and how vile they are. But the minute Harry and Meghan says that they're going to show up on that small island nation, they can't contain their anticipation. If you have saw any of the panels talking about Harry and Meghan's visit, you will see they are borderline giddy. I saw Tom Thumbhead Sykes on that Matt Wilkerson show. What is it called? Exclusive Royal or whatever it is. But anyway, He was bouncing around in his chair like a bouncing ball. He was so excited. Now, it could be that stuff he put up his nose. You know, he has a reputation for doing that, allegedly. So it could be that. He might be back on the powder, allegedly. But y'all, I am getting messy and I am not going to go down that road. But y'all know he got that reputation. I'm just saying. But yeah, he was so giddy at the thought of Harry, Meghan, and those babies coming to the UK. And now it's been snatched away from him. He is in his feels. Yes, he's mad. He's big mad. And he is not the only one big mad. Look at this. Chris Ship with a P, not a T, as Byron calls him. He's so mad that he reposted himself. His original post said, "The argument over Prince Harry's UK security rumbles on. Now Harry is considering not bringing Meghan and the children with him to the UK next week, after being told he will get nothing more than a phone number for a police liaison officer." Yeah, that's what he said. And then he reposted that and said, "Whatever your view of Harry and Meghan and their decision to leave the royal family, it seems bizarre that King Charles's son and grandchildren, who are fifth, sixth, seventh in line to the British throne, get zero public security, but Taylor Swift does when she comes to the UK." Not Chris repeating squatty talking points. Yeah, but it is bizarre. It ain't like he lying. Yes, he's finally decided to tell the truth. This is very bizarre and very intentional. If it's true, it is very, very intentional. And as for Chris Ship with a P, not a T, and Tom Thumbhead Sykes, everything that they said in these posts, them in defense of Harry and Meghan getting security, is all for selfish reasons. They know when Harry and Meghan comes to town, that's going to be their Super Bowl. That's going to be their World Cup for the Flying Monkeys. Yes, and they want that so bad, because you never would have got these two to say anything in defense of Harry and Meghan if it was not for selfish reasons. Y'all tell me what y'all think. And these two last posts, because like I said, I'm going to keep it short today, but to me, they're in line with how I think about this whole thing. And this squatty said, "The way I see it, if Harry and Meghan didn't have adequate safety measures and protocols in place, their spokesperson wouldn't have confirmed the visit. I'll wait and see what my fave's decisions are. We know trolls love to speculate, then eat humble pie when they are proven to be liars and just hating." Yep, that's me in a nutshell right there. I am just going to sit back and wait, because we know one thing that they do over there across the pond, those flying monkeys, they lie. They lie. And this squatty said, "Why don't I believe that the Sussex's highly experienced team would announce a trip so confidently without the assurance of some sort of security and the necessary measures taken by their own security team in order to protect the Sussex family? Something don't make sense." Yes, exactly. This is my feeling exactly. And that is the reason why I am unbothered. All right, y'all. I know this was a short one, but I just had to pop in and give y'all my opinion on this story of the day. I mean, they want us to believe that somehow Harry and Meghan has turned into mediocres like the ones across the pond. I don't buy it. But like I said, I love my time that I spend with y'all always, and I will be back soon. If you want to support the channel, you know how you can do it. Look right below. The super thanks button is right below. And if you want to be a part of the reading club, that link is right below as well, or click on my picture and you'll find it. And if you don't want nothing to do with YouTube, you can go over to patreon.com/the Royal Read and hit me up over there. I have a reading club over there as well. Or you can just join to see what I'm up to, because I'm always up to something over there on Patreon. And if you don't want to do that, you can do buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee/the Royal Read, and you can buy me a coffee. Also, if you have any hypes left for this week, hype your girl up. Yes, hype me up, because it helps the channel and it puts the podcast out there so new eyeballs can see it. And it really, really helps to grow the channel. So if you have a hype your girl up. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.